We've all heard it, right? That to be confident, you have to be loud. You've got to fake it till you make it. But what if I told you that real, unshakable confidence is actually quiet? Well, today we're going to dive into the science of how you can actually rewire your brain for a kind of deep, secure confidence that doesn't need to shout from the rooftops.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll challenge that whole myth of loud confidence. Then, we'll introduce this powerful idea of quiet self-trust. After that, we get into the cool science of how your brain can literally change. Then we'll get practical with the power of routines, and finally, we'll see how it all comes together to build what we call secure confidence. Let's get into it.
All right, first things first. We have to completely rethink what we believe confidence even is. And it all kicks off with one big question. Is being the loudest person in the room really the goal here?
I mean, you know the drill. Act like you own the place. Project success, even if you don't feel it. But let's be honest. Is that constant performance, that nonstop need to prove yourself to everybody, what confidence really feels like? Or have we been chasing the wrong thing all along?
Okay, this comparison really gets to the heart of it. Over on one side, you've got this loud arrogance. It's a performance, you know? It needs that constant applause to stay afloat, which means it's incredibly brittle. It can just shatter the second someone questions it. But then you have quiet self-trust. It's authentic. It comes from the inside out, so it doesn't need anyone else's approval. And because of that, it's deeply, deeply resilient.
And that idea of resilience, well, that leads us straight to our core concept for today: quiet self-trust. This is all about making a fundamental shift, moving away from constantly looking for external validation and instead building our own internal security.
And here it is, plain and simple. Quiet self-trust is not an act. It's a feeling. It's that calm, steady internal knowledge that you're capable, that you can figure things out, and that you're secure in what you can do, whether anyone is watching you or not. So the big question is, how do we actually get there? Well, this is where things get really fascinating, because this isn't just about mindset. It's about biology. Let's look at the actual science of how your brain can physically change to build the real deal. The magic word you need to know is neuroplasticity. This is the incredible scientifically proven ability of our brains to reorganize themselves, to form new connections, to literally change their own wiring based on what we do and think. Your brain isn't fixed in stone. Nope, it's more like clay that you can actively shape your entire life. Here's a great way to picture it. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a dense forest. The first time you try to get through, it's tough, right? You're pushing through branches and vines. But every time you walk that same route, you start to beat down a trail. The more you use it, the wider and clearer and easier that path becomes. That is exactly what's happening inside your brain when you build a new mental habit.
So, what is it that carves that new path in the neural forest? The tool is a brilliant concept called desirable difficulty. This just means a task that isn't so easy it's boring, but it's not so hard that it's impossible. It's that sweet spot of challenge that makes your brain sit up and say, okay, pay attention. This is important. Let's build a stronger connection here.
And that right there is the secret. That feeling of a satisfying struggle. You know, when you're really engaged with a challenge and you can feel yourself making progress, that is the trigger for neuroplasticity. The struggle isn't a sign you're failing. It's the very thing that's rewiring your brain to build a genuine, earned sense of capability.
Which brings us to the really practical part of all this, the power of routines. This is where we take all this cool brain science and turn it into a strategy you can actually use, like tomorrow.
And look, the strategy itself is so simple it's almost deceptive. Step 1, find a task that fits in that desirable difficulty zone. Step 2, tackle it with a structured, consistent routine. It's that repetition, that consistency that just hammers home the message to your brain day in and day out. Hey, we're capable. We can do hard things.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it could be as simple as tackling your one most important, kind of dreaded task first thing in the morning. No excuses. Or it could be something even smaller, like practicing delayed gratification by waiting 30 minutes before you check your phone. Each one is a small, structured win that proves to your brain that you are in the driver's seat.
And when you string all these small, consistent wins together, well, that's when you get to the ultimate payoff, building secure competence. This is the final step. This is how we move from just faking it to genuinely, deeply feeling it. Think of it this way. Every single time you complete one of these little routines, you're gathering evidence. You are literally handing your brain a receipt, a piece of concrete proof that says, see, we did it. We are capable.
And eventually, your brain has so much evidence it has no choice but to believe it and rewire itself for good.
You know, we tend to think of confidence as this magical thing you either have or you don't. But the science shows us something so much more hopeful. Confidence isn't something you find. It's something you forge, piece by piece, through consistent, focused effort. So listen, this isn't about some massive, life-altering change you have to make overnight. It's about taking one small, deliberate step on that new path in the forest. So I'll leave you with this question. What small, difficult thing will you choose to do today to start forging your own quiet self-trust?